Hello and welcome to sexuality in ELT. Yes, this this topic will be based on sexuality in the classroom, and I am going to present the role of teachers with this topic. And the talk will be based on John Gray, a professor of applied linguistics, who examine all the topic thoroughly. He says, for example, that what it means to be a teacher has changed dramatically over the last 40 years through neoliberal practices, has had an effective impact on education. In the past, teachers were seen as an effective practitioner, not as a reflective one. Yes. So all these views today clash with a teacher seen as a critical pedagogue. One of the topics he included was the Ilga reports. Ilga is an institution, an international lesbian gay association, which has presence all over the world, especially including in Argentina. Um, through these reports, they based their studies around the world. They focus on the legislation in some countries are changing for the better. There is progressive legislation in some countries, but when it comes to curriculum and learning materials globally, there is a a big gap. The education sector is hesitant to include diverse sexual orientation in our textbooks. In general, we still have the presence of heteronormative representations of masculine and feminine roles. Um, on the other hand, there is an important act passed in England in 2010 where it is called the Equality Act, yes. And this act was fully approved for workplaces, public services, and of course in education as well. Um, Through these media, LGBT students are more protected in further education. Yeah. The UNESCO has also a big presence in this topic through certain recommendations. For example, ensure that curricula and learning materials are inclusive. Of course, this is one of the big problems classrooms are facing. The educational staff lack adequate training and resources to address sexual orientation and gender identity. Um, so this is a crucial point where we have to deal with. Provide training and support to teachers, of course. Here in Argentina, we are having educación sexual integrada, which is one of the most important aspects in this type of change towards the new generations. Finally, provide access to non-judgmental and accurate information on sexual orientation and gender identity or expressions. Yes. Um, Through this 2010 Act in England, plus all the work in the UNESCO, added to ILGA reports, we can find that the idea for teachers in our classroom is to, in our ELT classrooms, is vital to foster social equality and justice. The idea is to provide more clarifying materials and ideas for classroom activities, yes. Because we are going to find through this approach a double benefit. On the one hand, LGBT students will feel more protected and understood. And on the other hand, non-LGBT students can grasp a much better understanding of the community. So intersectionality plays an important role with other aspects of identity. So, well, this is more or less what Gray and Eckert talked through classroom activities. A best suggestion for teachers would be to start implementing and detect cases in our classrooms where we need to revise all the textbooks and the way we behave in our classrooms. Thank you very much. And this is the end of my presentation.